Hi, everybody. Rebecca Nelson, Wine Club Director here at Becker Vineyards, back with you again for another fantastic virtual tasting. We've had a little bit of difficulty getting everybody on today, so just to let everybody know, we've got a lot of people in a lot of different places tonight. So I'm here in Fredericksburg at our Main Street location. Our winemaker, John Leahy, is out in the Plains at one of our growers at their B&B cabin. Bret is out at Farmhouse. At their Parker House location. Rachel Fanning is with us at Reddy Vineyards up in the High Plains. And then we have a great surprise tonight as well. We have Will Becker with us, the other Becker boy, and he is joining us all the way from Massachusetts. So tonight we are tasting our 2016 Chevaux Noir. This is a fabulous blend of Merlot and Cabernet Franc. And since we have everybody in all these great locations and we're wanting to get everybody on, I'm just going to turn it right over to John and Bret and Will and Rachel to get us going. I hope everybody enjoys the tasting tonight. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, Rebecca. Thanks for that intro, and welcome the other Becker boy, by the way.
The other white meat. Thank you.
Will, we're gonna try to make you laugh tonight. So Will is a very serious teacher and basketball coach and wine aficionado. So Will, for the folks at home who may not are out there in Facebook land who may not be familiar with you, introduce yourself and say hi to everybody.
Howdy, I'm Will Becker, and I am Joe's older brother, and I teach at a boarding school in Massachusetts, right on Cape Cod, right on Buzzards Bay. And I teach math, and I am the girls basketball coach. And before I had a family, a wife and 3 kids, I would spend a lot of time at home helping out, but not nearly as much now as I would like. But it's just wonderful to be able to be here tonight and join in and be a part of this. I've enjoyed watching all of these on Facebook, so thanks for having me.
Well, we're very happy that you could join us, Will, especially me, since I hardly ever get a chance to give you a lot of grief. I'm looking forward to the next 30 minutes.
Very good.
So Bret, where are you at? And Rachel?
I'll let Bret go.
Oh, hey, there you go. Rachel, where are you at? Tell us.
I can't see Bret, so I don't know if he's in. So
Yeah.
I am in my dear friend, Dr. Vijay Reddy's vineyard. And this is one of my favorite viewpoints of all of the vineyards. Dr. Reddy has an apartment that's 2 stories high that's situated smack dab in the middle of his, I believe we heard today that it's almost slightly over 300 acres.
Right.
Planted now. Like I said, one of my very favorite views. I don't know if it conveys so very well across Zoom and Facebook, but I'm standing at the end of the Petit Syrah Rose. But behind me, if you can see the gradations of green, every time you see a slight change of green, that's another varietal that's planted. So you might see like 5, 6, 8, 10 rows of a chartreuse, maybe, or like a lime green or a dark green. All of those are different varietals that are planted back here.
Well, it's looking great there. But Bret, you equally has a beautiful view under the tree there. So where are you at, Bret?
All right, so I'm at the farmhouse vineyard. So the other thing that we want to explain is that we historically take these trips to the high plains to check out all of our growers, different vineyards, and this just happened to be, it fell on one of our Friday night meetings, and so we're trying to make this kind of a neat interactive thing that you can see. So Rachel obviously is at the Reddy Vineyards in Brownfield, Texas. I am at Farmhouse's Parker Vineyard, which we're about 2 miles away, and John is about 3 blocks away from us, I guess. Will is about 1,500 miles to the east in some direction that way. But we wanted to give you guys kind of a sense of what we're doing this week with checking out the vineyards and seeing the different blocks that we have. So I'm at Farmhouse, and I'm in the shade. I feel bad for Rachel because you are not.
It's don't mind the squint.
Mind the West Texas squint. Yeah. You know, what were you saying earlier? One thing you never learned 8 years living in West Texas was never smile into the sandstorm.
I never learned to stop smiling the whole time. The wind blows. We talk about how the wind blows in West Texas. How we talk can never do it justice.
Right.
The wind blows constantly. It's actually a grace because the air here is never stale. It could be 104, 100, whatever degrees, but you always have a nice breeze. What you have to learn to do is redefine a breeze at 20 to 25 miles per hour.
Yeah, so let's get into the wine here a little bit, and bear with us, folks at home, if you get a little wind in the background for the noise.
Hey, John.
If it's too
John,
much, no.
we're gonna mute. Rachel and I are gonna mute each other. So I mean, mute. Or Crystal can mute us from the control room so that we don't get the wind.
Yeah, not a worry, not a worry. I just want to, first of all, I want to introduce everybody to this wine, and thank you for joining us after our concert on Wednesday. So tonight's wine for your Friday enjoyment is the Chevaux Noir. So it is our 2016. If you have this particular bottle in your backup, you've got the correct one. Hopefully I have the right one. We've been making this wine for a few vintages now. It is our homage to Cheval Blanc, for those of who are Francophiles. Basically, it's a blend of Merlot and Cab Franc. So I'm going to have Rachel go through the blend on this in just a second, but I want everybody to lift their glass, give it a swirl and a sniff and a taste. And I try to get everybody to do this at least 20 or 30 times so I can have 2 glasses of wine before the broadcast is over. But anyway, so Rachel, why don't you take us on the blend?
He's muted.
Yeah, I think she may be muted. Will.
I didn't realize.
Hold on, Vijay.
Yep.
Am I in? I can't
Yep,
tell.
you're in.
Sorry, it's new. That's a new one for me, kids. So which 2 glasses are you using, John?
Me? I'm drinking 2 glasses. I'm not using 2 glasses.
Oh, so sorry. I might be slightly blinded by the light. So to talk about the 16 Chevaux Noir, it's about 70% Merlot and 30% Cabernet Franc. The 70% Merlot comprises almost equal portions of 30 something percent from Reddy Vineyards here where I am, and Steve Newsom's Merlot that's several miles down the road in Sundown, Texas. The Cabernet Franc is Bingham Cabernet Franc and Farmhouse where Bret is.
Fantastic. So Will, have you had a chance to try the wine?
Yeah, it's I found this.
Oh my God, really?
Was that a straw?
It's a sippy cup.
Oh, it's a frozen sippy cup. Frozen too.
Does it got Ella?
So Cab Franc is my favorite grape, and I love the Cab Franc Reserve, and I love the Chevaux Noir. But I think Cab Franc is so versatile. I think what you guys are able to do with it in Texas, in that wonderfully warm, growing climate, to be able to get, it's not overwhelmed by the pepper or the bell pepper or the spice. You also get strawberry and chocolate and all the fruit because you get good ripeness, and it can be a very tannic or highly acidic varietal, but that heat helps balance that out, and blending it with the Merlot just really rounds this out. So I think this has fabulous mouthfeel. It's got great fruit forward but it's also got good balance. And I just love this wine. It's one of my favorites.
Fantastic. Whoops, sorry. I apologize. I'm getting some background noise here. Trust me, let me clear that out. I don't know if you heard the reverb, but I think my phone was giving a little problem there. So Will, now that I've got you, and I want to get back to Rachel and Bret here in a second, but so you've been gone teaching for the last 25 to 30 years, and we don't get to see you very often except maybe at holidays. So what were your first memories of when your folks bought the property and stuff? And you know, Joe has the quintessential story about planting with Bunny and stuff, but what were your impressions when they told you they were buying a property and turning it into a vineyard?
So when they first bought the property, the idea was just, you know, there's this old farmhouse on the other side of the property from the winery, and it's probably the bane of Bret's existence. It's the upkeep for that is special. But the idea was to fill that with antiques and to make it a wonderful weekend retreat, and it has been that at times for us. So we had that. I think they bought that my freshman or sophomore year in college, and then February of my junior year in college, I was up here in Massachusetts going to college. I get a phone call from my dad saying, "Can you bring home a few guys? I want to plant a vineyard." Out of the blue. There was no warning, might do a vineyard. It's just I had not visited Grape Creek or Pedernales Cellars or any other wineries at the time that were doing pretty well around there. And so this caught me completely off guard. And but he was serious. And so I did round up about 5 guys, and we came home, and we drove stakes and did post holes and put all the structure in that the grapes grow on. Mm-hmm. And growing up, there was not a lot of alcohol in the house. My father didn't really start drinking wine until I was, I think, a sophomore or junior in high school. So all this happened very quickly. And my father researches everything exhaustively. So he had studied the soil maps in that part of Texas, and he had met with the folks at Grape Creek and the owners of Pedernales Cellars, no longer there, and had done his research. So it wasn't a whim, but it did catch me by surprise. So we came home with a bunch of guys and set up the framework. And then that summer, Joe and Mom and I crawled around with, in the dirt and planted grapes. And it was an amazing experience. And I think the story's been told a lot of times on these Facebook live shows, but it was really a complete family operation from soup to nuts at first. And but it's been wonderful, just wonderful for the whole family.
Well, it really still is a family operation. Every Saturday, Joe and Doc come in for our meetings, and Bret looks at me about 10 minutes before they get there, and he's like, "Now I want you to stay on track. I want you to be serious."
Like I've done the whole last 2 days, by the way, on our trip to the High Plains. We have to stay on time. We cannot be late for an appointment. And unfortunately, we make every single one of our growers mad because we can't have dinner or lunch or breakfast with everybody. And that's what's so cool about coming up here, is that every single grower that we have wants to treat us to the highest, and we have to go and get the work done. And unfortunately, we can't have dinner with everybody, and we literally have to turn everybody down so that we can get to the next appointment. And we were out until 9:30 last night and had to look at grapes with a flashlight, Rachel, with a flashlight, it was just, and inevitably, this is the coolest thing that we get to do, coming to see the growers and see the vines. And Will, Joe is with us. He's behind John somewhere over there.
He is. Here, hold on. I think I can. There he is.
Howdy, bro.
And we have to eat pizza on the way up here, And
hey, don't say that. My wife's watching this video.
So not everybody ate pizza.
So, but today is supposed to be Food Friday. I want to accentuate the fact that we had pizza on the way up here, and we had hamburgers for lunch, and we had the most amazing lunch that we cooked for ourselves with a hamburger, and we drank Pinot Noir from the Farmhouse Vineyard, and we drank Cabernet from the Wilmeth Vineyard, and it was just a great afternoon. You know?
Oh yeah, well, you know, and tonight I'm looking forward to that tenderloin that somebody has smuggled up here.
Yeah. Sorry, Chef Michael, we took one out of the fridge at the winter.
Yeah. Don't let him know. This is great. So, Will, what wines do you and Em, your wife, your wonderful wife, what do you all typically drink as far as when you're having dinner together?
So I really think that the reds that are coming out right now that you guys are making are just phenomenal. And I love the Canada, and I love the Wilmeth. I love the Barrel Select, Iconoclast, the Claret. That is got to be the best, greatest steel at that price point in the world. So I've always loved the reds that we've produced, and I think it's especially true now. I once had lunch with Gordon Getty, had us out in California because he has Plumjack, his own Cabernet boutique winery, and he orders our wine because his release is at $200 a bottle, and at the time I think ours was 20. I think it's at 40 now, but he liked ours better, and so just the value is just incredible. And so our reds blow me away. My wife loves the white wine. She loves the Viognier. She certainly loves all of the sweeter wines you make as well. So I think that the fact that you put so much effort into the sweet wines, that you treat those with art and passion the same way you do everything you make, I think it's what's so special about the line, that you could just add sugar and walk away from it, but you guys don't. And you do the same blending trials with those that you do with everything you make. And so she loves the whites and some of the sweeter ones. I love all of the reds. I think what we're doing right now is just incredible. Some very successful men go through a lot of wives. My father went through a lot of winemakers. And John, we like to think of you as sort of that really curvy 20-something, that trophy wife.
Oh my God.
I've been saving that one.
Oh, thanks.
So we're just excited about everything that you guys are doing out there. So
I kind of feel sorry for Doc now.
No, that one's gonna stick.
That one's gonna stick. Will, I hope you don't come home anytime soon, buddy.
You've got a tank that needs washing.
Yes.
So there's going to be a T-shirt that says "John is my trophy wife."
I think I get that.
Sorry, I think I got the Rona. Oh shit!
All right, Will.
That's awesome. Oh, Rachel, talk about the wine while I try to catch my breath.
Yeah, you do that. So, I think it's time to take another little swirl and sniff. So let's talk about the aromas that we get on this one, because this is, again, I feel like I say this all the time. It's a fun project, right? But it's a relatively new wine that we produced. I think 15 was the first year. So 16, this is only our second vintage of this one. But to be able to focus on this style of wine that is always going to be a predominantly Merlot with a cab base blend, it's quite fun. It's a lot of fun because these are some favorite varietals all together. So swirl and sniff. Don't mind my Go Vino.
Hey, I've got one too.
I'm just going to say, I'm reminding people that I'm traveling and I am on top of a second-story apartment in the wind, in the vineyard.
These
safer than glass.
are awesome. Are you kidding me? They're great.
These are awesome. I love these. In fact, my family steals these from me all the time.
It's okay. I steal them from the winery. I mean, I borrow them all the time.
Hey, we have cameras and we take them out of your paycheck. You just didn't see the deduction.
Literally on right now. So, can we talk a little bit about what you get on the nose?
Absolutely. So, we're getting some pretty good syrupy notes here on this. What I really enjoy about Merlot is it's just velvet wonderfulness, but it has such deep fruit and it doesn't hit you in the face. You know, it's not a monster wine, but this thing has got a lot of tannin, a lot of structure. It holds up well. The Chevaux Noir holds up well to time, and Cab Franc, and I agree with you, Will. Cab Franc is such a wonderful varietal. I have always loved it. I love the pyrazines of Cab Franc, that the pyrazines that are the bell pepper, or the little bit of grass, or green bean edge, if you will. You know, those are the things that are indicative to Cab Franc. You know, bell pepper in with the Merlot, it's absolutely fantastic. But what are you getting, Will? Anything to add?
Yeah, no, the same. Just every now and then, sort of a hint of a red fruit. I don't know if it's strawberry, raspberry, but there's the pepper, and then some darker notes, which I guess come from the Merlot. You obviously know better than I do, but maybe almost sort of a chocolatey, dark chocolate as well. But just love it.
Well, Rachel, what do you think? It's Food Friday.
Spice.
What kind of food are you thinking?
Oh, you know, for the last couple of weeks, I've really racked my brain to always be prepared for that question. I failed today. I failed. Can I pass and ask somebody else, and I promise I'll have an amazing answer next.
Yeah, no worries, because we're gonna get the first go round on food, and then we're gonna talk about the actual structure and how we built this wine. So, Will, what would you put with this wine?
So I love the acid and the tannin that you get with the Cab Franc. I think this could, because of that, it's a very versatile food wine. I think you could handle a red sauce, but I think this would just be with sort of a lighter meat dish, like a game or a duck, quail. I think quail, dove. I think venison would be fabulous. So, but you could also do this with a pasta sauce. I mean, it's with a pasta dish.
Very easily.
Yeah,
I think so. A nice marinara, and put a little bit of wine in there. You know, one of the things that I did at home with this is I marinated mushrooms and served it on top of steak with the Cab Franc marinated mushrooms. It was really good. But, so Rachel, you're falling behind on your food game.
So I think because of all the wind out here, Crystal, our producer, is muting me fairly often. So I'm having to mute myself a lot. Yeah, I am. I'm falling behind. And because, there's a part of me that feels very cliche. If I say a steak, clearly a steak is going to be amazing with this. Barbecue, Texas barbecue, going to go so fabulous with this. Absolutely. I do love, Will, that you mentioned the marinara sauce, because I feel like sometimes that's a little hard to pair, especially with reds. As well as that, like medium body,
meat acid.
The nice tannic structure, the nice acidity that it will pair well with especially a roasted tomato sauce.
So, okay, Bret, to you. Food game number one. What do you think?
Well, since we're going to cook tenderloin tonight, I'm going to go with tenderloin, and we have extra bottles of this that we brought. So,
oh, there you go.
Sorry, that was low battery again. Just chill out. But I think tenderloin is going to be a great. And so, John, talk about the classic blend of what Cheval Blanc was, and I think our goal on this was to accentuate these vineyards. And when I was pointing behind me, the Cab Franc is that.
Yes, yeah, exactly, which is great. And Rachel's standing in front of some of the best Merlot too, between Vijay's and Jets, and then we got Steve Newsom's Merlot. We got some fantastic Merlot in this bottle. But so the classic blend, I can't do this without mentioning the movie Sideways, okay? Because not everybody got the joke, the sublime joke of that movie, which was the Paul's character when he was railing against Merlot. I hate Merlot, and all of this. There were some great lines, one-liners, and little subtle digs in there. But the whole time he was carrying a bottle of the Cheval Blanc, his favorite wine, which was a Merlot-based wine, Merlot and Cabernet Franc. It's a classic blend. And what I'm asking Joe, because I can't remember off the top of my head, Bordeaux, what region? Cheval Blanc. It's not Pomerol, is it? No, it's
Saint-Emilion.
It is Pomerol?
Yeah.
Is it? Okay. Yeah. Oh, Will's giving me the stink eye. No.
No, Pomerol.
But yeah, so we decided to make a Texas version of that wine because we have these really good grapes. And Rachel and I, several years ago, and it was in 2013, 2014, when we were tasting through the 2012 Merlots, we revitalized the La Quattro Stagioni labels. And at that point, we started talking about what else Merlot could do. And then we started talking about Cheval Blanc. And then the year later, in 2015, it's like, hey, we need to make a Merlot Cabernet Franc blend. And so we started down this path, and with Doc and Joe and Bret on Saturdays, we started tasting these permutations and decided that this classic 70-30 blend worked beautifully. A lot of this wine saw American oak as its new oak, not a lot of French oak in it, oddly enough. I know I kind of rail on the French oak, but American oak and Merlot go together brilliantly, like peas and carrots, if you will, to borrow another movie line. But we did use a little bit of French oak with the Cab Franc, but the Cab Franc also aged 2 full years in barrel along with the Merlot. So we get this beautifully aged wine that we're able to put together, and the harmony in glass is just beautiful. It's got great red notes, as you were saying, Will. I get a lot of deep currant out of there. And then the Cab Franc, the pyrazines in there, and that nice, the older this gets, chocolate and coffee really dive down, and you get a lot of earthiness in here, which it screams for a good heavy meat food for that, or something really, really delicious like a chocolate souffle for dessert. And I've had that flourless chocolate cake with this wine, and it's brilliant. It absolutely does well. So Rachel, once again, unmute yourself. Saint Emilion, I was corrected. So the Saint Emilion is the Cheval Blanc. So Rachel, come on. No, you're just pretending now. Okay, she's totally muted. Can you hear her, Bret?
Well, I can't even see her, so I think that there might be there's probably an interweb problem in Brownfield, Texas. So
right on. So, she's doing sign language now.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So Crystal just came on. Sorry, Rachel. Crystal cannot even unmute you. So just as long as we know that's what's happening, we can go on.
That's a horrible thing to happen to Rachel. Well, listen, so the structure of this wine too, and when we find these wines, I think part of what we're trying to do, and the reason, yes, we had to come up here and see the grapes and do our initial vineyard surveys for the beginning of the year, but part of what we are lucky enough to do tonight and showing everybody the different locations here of where this wonderful fruit comes down, it's also a great way to showcase what these guys go through every year and the hard work that our farming partners have to endure. And they really do carry the lion's share of the weight here. It doesn't matter what's going on around them. They have to get out and work every day. They have to make this work for themselves and for us, and we very much appreciate it. So one of the things we get to do when we put something in a bottle like this, it's our way of honoring that hard work. It's our way of saying, this is really good. We thank you for this, but we want other people to know who you are. We want everybody to know where West Texas is and put it on the map because of the fruit they grow here. And I'm not saying that just because Jeff Wilmoth is on and Vijay and everybody, but maybe it won't hurt next year with contract negotiation. But in all honesty, I can't think of a better way than to honor these folks with that wine in a bottle and let everybody know where it's from. So Rachel, you're back?
I am.
Good. So you got it. Your voice, you found your voice amazingly. So what do you get? What do you get out of this wine?
Okay, so one of the things that I've always loved about this wine is the complexity of it. That it's always, I feel like the Merlot really brings together a bright cherry note. It brings together a lot of acidity, but in balance with that, there's a lot of almost stewed strawberry notes to it. And then in addition, it's very complex. I love it with the layers. So you got the bright acidity, you've got the cherry, you've got the stewed strawberries, and then you have all the oaky notes to it. and like you said earlier, like it has chocolatiness to it, and it really brings a lot to the table.
Well, somebody just asked on Facebook too, green olives maybe in here. And yep, I would say green olive is a legitimate choice,
Absolutely.
especially
It's
with
that
Cabernet.
Cabernet Franc, right?
Yeah, yeah.
That pulls the pyrazines, but the
Yeah.
Merlot pairs so well with the pyrazines.
Oh, it does. It does indeed. So Will, when are you coming home? Just curious.
I would, my goal was, I don't coach in the spring, so my goal was to come home, every couple of weekends and bring a couple of my boys to see Joe's boys. But flying hasn't been ideal, and I didn't want to bring anything home to my family. So I think as soon as the world fixes itself a little bit better, we will definitely jump on a plane and be down. I can't wait. So, I want to be there when the poppies haven't had a chance to dry out and go away. I want to see those, and
Yeah.
it's just such a beautiful time right now. This late spring, early summer. So as soon as the world fixes itself, we'll be home.
Okay.
Forward to
Okay.
it. Yeah.
We
Well-
look forward to seeing you. It's always such a delight to see your face
Thank
walking
you.
through the winery.
It is always fun, and it is a family endeavor. We all appreciate how much we've been included in that endeavor. So it has been a lot of fun, and the fact that I am now what was the term he used again?
Trophy wife.
My trophy wife.
No, a drunken trophy winemaker wife. Okay, great. I'm just saying. Bret just shaking his head. Oh, buddy.
So happy
Long
about
5-hour car ride home, huh, buddy?
it. I see t-shirts in the making.
Yeah, right. I think we've got this year's harvest T-shirt. This will be great. Will, I appreciate it. I think we're going to wrap this up, but I want to remind everybody to ask some questions. We want to answer them. We'll stay on here a minute longer, but I also want to remind everybody of what's coming up for next week. So next week on our pack up here on Monday, on Memorial Day, we'll be doing the Prairie Cuvée, the 2015 Prairie Cuvée, which is a white blended Rhone. And then on Wednesday, we'll be doing the Texas Icon Barrel Select, which is a wonderful wine and readily available across the state. And then on Friday, we're going to be doing the Ranger Haze, the 2017 Ranger Haze, which is absolutely a wonderful Malbec blend wine. So,
Did you say Ranger Haze?
Yeah.
Formerly known as Raven.
No, you told me I couldn't mention Raven because of those folks out in California.
Yeah, right. But
That's
I mean,
too much.
yeah, but it's Ranger Haze.
It's Ranger Haze.
All right.
But
That is a beautiful wine too.
I've never seen a Texan back down from a fight.
But it is a big deal that Ranger Haze is getting out of the box. Okay, so
Oh yeah, it is a big deal.
Next week, Ranger Haze, and you need to read the story about. I challenge everybody to Google the story behind
On Coffee
Jack
Haze.
Coffee Haze. Okay, so ask your questions next week. We'll try to answer them if we can. But the fact that we're going to do Ranger Haze is a big deal.
Oh, absolutely.
Because I got the win.
So everybody at home, I want to cheers everyone. Thank you for joining us for another wonderful week. It's been the 24th broadcast, but since we're 2 on Wednesday, it's still 23. But anyway, wonderful 7 weeks, going into 8 weeks of virtual. And everybody at home to say, wish you all great health and good wine. Cheers and have a safe Memorial Day weekend.
Cheers.